video. Today is I believe today is Saturday. Usually I post this video on Thursday night. I postponed it originally to Friday and then I had to push it back to today as well. Basically, I'm off work at the minute, Easter break, and the past couple of days we've been decluttering around the house and doing kind of like a deep clean kind of thing. And I was just super busy, and now I'm super worn out and I think I've gotten a bit sick. So I am very sorry in the delay. I do try my best to stick to the schedule, but sometimes, life just gets in the way. Anyway, enough of that. Today we're going to be reading some AITA posts. I have picked out a few already, so we will just get straight into them. Also, I forgot to charge my iPad. It's on 14%. It usually lasts a pretty decent amount of time, so it should last through the video. Okay, let's get started. The first one is by positive_image_3921, and it's titled, "Am I the a-hole for making a mum pick up her daughter in the middle of the night from my kid's sleepover? This weekend I had a small birthday sleepover for my 8-year-old daughter and a couple of her friends. The night started completely normal. The girls had snacks, watched movies, and went to bed at around 10:30. But around 1:30 a.m. one of them came into my room crying and wanted her mum. While I was trying to calm her down, she told me this was her first time sleeping somewhere new, which was unbeknownst to me and caught me off guard. I did my best to try and comfort her. I sat with her and got her a drink, but she kept crying and getting more and more worked up, repeating that she wanted to go home. I gave it some time, but it wasn't getting any better. So at that point I felt like it wouldn't be right to force her to stay somewhere where she was clearly not happy. I called her mum and asked if she could come and pick her up right then and there. Her mum came, but she seemed annoyed. The next morning she texted me saying she wished I had just waited it out until the morning, because now her daughter is embarrassed and might not want to try sleepovers again. Where I'm frustrated is that I feel like I was put in a bad position and destined to fail from the start no matter what. I wasn't made aware that this was their first sleepover, and I don't think it's fair to use someone else's house, especially during their child's birthday party, as the guinea pig without giving a heads up. I'm not mad at the girl at all. I felt really bad for her, but I also don't think it was my job to handle that level of distress all night. But I'm wondering if I should have just stayed up with her a bit longer to see if she'd go back to sleep and try to push through till morning, as the mum said." Not the a-hole at all. As somebody in the comments said, top comment basically says, "Not the a-hole, I'd be furious to discover my child had been begging to come home because they were scared, and someone kept them against their will. It's on their parents to guide her through the situation and help her understand her feelings, why she felt what she did, and then make sure they put a safety net in place for the next time she tries. As a dad, I'd be extremely grateful to you for sitting with her and treating her with kindness and then calling to get her home." Yeah, pretty much that. One, it's your child's birthday. It's not the time nor place to like she said, try something new and keep trying with it if it's causing a lot of distress. And then also I feel like they should have said it's her first time sleeping over and gave her that warning, because that happens a lot with kids. But yeah, if a kid really wanted to go home and they were in my care, I would take them home or ask their parent to come pick them up, because it's a child. They are a child and they want their parents. It's the obvious choice, is it not? When I was little, I had a kid that would sleep over, a friend, sorry, 30 times. We were really close friends. And only one night did he stay all the way through the night. That was because his mum said that if he tries to come home again, don't let him, because he needs to learn a lesson. Because he keeps begging to stay over and then not staying. But I think, yeah, take them home and don't give them that many chances. If they keep doing the same thing, they need to grow up a bit before the sleepover phase starts, if that's the case, like with my childhood friend. Okay, this next one is by Explanation Putrid 205 and it's titled, Am I the a-hole for buying a fingerprint locked handle? So, I stay at my house 5 days a week, then at my boyfriend's the other 2. When I come home from his house, something is always missing. Last time it was my hoodie, I hadn't even took the tag off yet. The week before that, my favourite blush. It's always something: perfume, clothes, makeup and pillows. I have told my mum and sister, if you want to borrow something, text me and ask, and I'll probably say yes, but I would like to know where my things are. They said they would, of course, but they didn't. Last week I got new bedding, put it on before going to my boyfriend, so it would be nice for me to come back to. My sister slept in my bed and spilled juice all over my bedding. I was raging, obviously, because just ask. I got sick of telling them to just ask and coming home to my things gone or ruined, so I put a handle that locks when I'm not there. My mum says it's a bit far and could be a safety issue if I'm in my room and something happens. I told her when I am home it'll be unlocked, but when I'm away I'll lock it. She says I'm being petty and taking it a bit far. You're not being petty at all. The fact that she's arguing against it and calling it petty and unsafe, even though you've proven that it's not unsafe, makes me think that she's the main culprit with the theft. That's not too far at all. I also would put a lock on my room, because why the hell are people taking your things without asking? That's so rude, so cheeky, so entitled, and it would make me really, really mad. It always used to absolutely make me fuming. It used to make me really angry when that stuff happened to me when I was younger, so I totally understand. Okay, this next one is by Kitty Rowan's. Also, I'm sorry about the music, I don't know if you can hear it. I've got new neighbours across the street and they're still moving in, so they're playing music while they're moving things in. It's by Kitty Rowan's. Am I the a-hole for changing my locks after my sister kept dropping her kids off at my place? I'm 31 male, my sister is 27. not later, just no, I couldn't do it. She came anyway. She left all 3 kids on my porch, knocked and drove off. Before I even got to the door, so then I had 3 kids outside my place, and no real option except to bring them in and deal with it. I missed the presentation. My boss tore into me and chewed me out for it, and I got taken off a project I had been working on for months. That night, I took the kids back and told her if she ever did that again, I was calling the police. In response, she just put this annoyed and disappointed look on and said something in the lines of, "Alright, I heard you. I'll figure it out myself like I always do. Won't make the mistake of asking you again." I was too tired to even argue. I just left. Then I changed my locks because she had a spare key. The next day she came back with the kids again. When her key didn't work, I guess she stood there for a brief minute and then decided to scratch up my front door with the key before leaving. My neighbour even texted me asking what was going on and whether she should call the police. My sister is now completely avoiding me and ghosting me. I don't know, I just feel so tired and burnt out. I feel like I kept helping until I couldn't anymore, and now I'm the a-hole for finally putting a stop to it. That's insane. That is really, really bad. Honestly, like, I do feel like you need to possibly call the police or you know, like social services, child services, whatever on it, because that's not right. She constantly doesn't want to be around her kids. She's constantly going out, doing this, that and the other, and just fobbing her kids off on you or other people. Like, she obviously doesn't want to be a parent. Maybe this is me just assuming too much, but I feel like she probably neglects those kids at home too, because, you know, she obviously doesn't know what to do with them and doesn't want to put the effort in. And leaving the kids on the porch and driving off is crazy. That's crazy and unsafe. 1, he said he couldn't do it. He had a big work presentation, and 2, he may not have even been home. You're just leaving your kids there to get hurt or exposed to the elements or like snatched, or, you know, like, that's crazy behavior, and that needs consequences. That's really bad in my opinion. And also, she basically made him lose a big part of his job, like something that he was working on for ages. That's really bad. She's also very entitled. The way she says, like, oh, the way I always figure it out, blah blah blah. Like, no, you don't just chuck your kids at your brother and expect him to play dad to them. Like, get a grip, be a parent and step up for once. Okay. This next one's by Majestic Emu 2865. It's titled, "Am I the a-hole for making enemies with our new neighbours less than a month after moving in? Just moved into a new home that was a second home for 7 years, meaning the owners weren't often around. Apparently one of the neighbours would let their dog use the yard as a bathroom. The old owner had his suspicions but never knew for sure who it was, because he never caught them in the act. A couple weeks in, I started noticing new evidence that someone, in fact, was still letting their dog use our yard as their bathroom and not cleaning up after it. I finally caught them one random middle of the day and walked outside and asked what they were doing while they had stepped into our yard with their dog on a leash. I had just seen the dog relieve itself and they were walking away. She said the dog likes to sniff over there, and I said that's fine, but asked her if she had a bag to pick up the poop that was left in our yard, and she said she was just walking back to the house to get one so she could come back and pick it up. Based on all the other droppings in our yard, I assumed that was a lie. I told her that and then just said, get the hell off my property. She was a bit shocked and didn't really say anything else as I watched them leave. Mentioned the story to my aunt, who said I probably made a bad first impression in as the new neighbour and could have been a bit kinder, maybe offered to give her a bag so she could clean it up instead. I figured I had to draw the line somewhere and maybe would have been a bit less confrontational had she not lied to my face about it. I guess there is a possibility that this in fact was the first time her dog had ever pooped in our yard, and that there is a second person letting their dog roam in our yard, but based on the one other dog I've seen nearby and the size of the droppings, and her lack of denying when called out, she was likely the culprit. Either way, we're gonna have to build a fence, which I think is lame, but I'm not picking up other people's dog poop, nor do I want strangers roaming our yard when we're not home. I don't think you're the a-hole. I mean, personally, I would have been more polite handling it, but that's just because I'm very much a people pleaser, unfortunately, and I really do not want to deal with confrontation, especially if it's the first time I've actually caught them in the act. I'll probably say, like, someone's obviously been using it, and the dog go there, like, maybe there was a misunderstanding, and I know people didn't live here full time previously, but now we do, so please don't do that anymore. But I also don't think they're the a-hole for handling it how they did. I mean, it most likely is a dog, and also why are you going out on a walk without poo bags anyway? Because you probably knew a dog was going to poo there, because she always leaves it there. Okay, let's do one more. This one is by Secret Initiative 9253, and it's titled, Am I the a-hole for closing a joint bank account the day before my ex leaves for vacation? Oh god, do we even need to read that one? Definitely not. Okay. Ignore the username, it was randomly generated. Now here is the much needed context. My ex-husband and I separated over 5 years ago. It has been a really messy and emotionally, financially and physically draining process. While we were together, we had a joint account where all of our expenses were taken out of. After separation, I had requested that my name be removed from the joint account. He did not want the account closed, as that is where he was continuing to do the majority of his banking from. This included debits for his vehicle payment, receiving payroll, etc. Over the last several years, he has refused to attend the bank together to take my name off the account. Requests have been made directly and through our attorneys. I even asked recently, as of 2 weeks ago, as we were both in the city, we both live rurally, to have this finally done and my name removed. He continued to deny this request. Yesterday I received a text message and a phone call from the bank where the joint account is held, stating that the account was in overdraft totaling $949.99 and the balance needed to be paid instantly. I immediately texted and called my ex-husband to have this rectified, as this was going to affect my credit score. Once again, he refused to attend the bank to have this completed as he was too busy. Luckily, I was in the city and went to the branch to see what my options are to not let it affect my credit. My options were either to do nothing or to pay the overdraft and close the account. I paid the overdraft and moved forward to closing the account. These were funds that I had worked hard saving. I was going towards extracurricular activities for our children. Now this is where I may be the a-hole. My ex told me that he was leaving on a 3-week vacation to Italy starting March 31st. This all happened March 30th. I chose the second option to pay the overdraft and close the account. With all the fees, the total was close to $970. Now all of his debits, vehicle payments, bills, etc. are expected to come out of this account while he was away. This means that gives him 1 day to open a new bank account and change all payments coming out of the previous joint account. So am I the a-hole for closing it? Even though he's had 5 years to remove my name the day before he leaves for vacation. No, not the a-hole at all. He already racked up almost $1,000 worth of overdraft fees, or like just an overdraft or whatever. I think obviously he's not too busy. He's had 5 years to take it off. He just doesn't want it because he wants to potentially mess with you. If he gets it in today, he wants you to face the consequences for it as well. He's just being petty and cruel, which is insane, especially since they have kids together. Like, be an adult, Jesus Christ. Sorry. Okay. Small update. I don't know how to update the post, so I'm doing it in the comments. For closing the account, the bank gave me 2 years worth of statements. Safe to say he has been hiding funds and only been using this account to keep in the negatives to ruin my credit. However, upon the review of the statement, it includes what he received from his tax refund. 2 years ago, he received over $20,000 from a tax return. This was more than likely due to the fact that our son was diagnosed with ADHD and more recently autism, and he received a disability tax credit, Canadian here, and it was backdated. This means that I am entitled to 50% of the resulting credit amount. Okay, so she spent basically $1,000 to pay the fees and close the account, but now he has to pay her $10,000 because she's found out what he was doing and what he had got, and that she was entitled to it, so he kept all that money for himself, even though it was for them as parents to help with their child, I think, because he has ADHD and